Relax, the keyboard is off, the press box is closed, but the mic is just getting warmed up. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc., the show where the writer is fresh off the presses, but our goalie Lance stops the presses with his latest article about the Flyers' defensive struggles. With a left pad save on this one piece about the mounting injuries for the Flyers, and who could come in and help out on another great episode.
Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of the Hockey Writers Inc. I'm your host, Lance Green.
And I'm your co-host, Steel Flyers. And boy, have we got a great show for you tonight. How about that, man?
Definitely. Hey, congrats, I have to say, on making another Bleacher Report. I think that's 13 weeks in a row now, Steel.
Oh, yeah, that is 13 weeks in a row, man. That definitely gets the big salute. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Flyers Nitty Gritty and Jamey Baskow on that one. Thank you very much for putting us out there and allowing us to 13 weeks in a row now. Bleacher Reports. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Hey, Steel, who is this guy sitting over here?
Yeah, we got somebody. Welcome. How you doing, Gunny?
Doing fantastic, guys. Thank you for having me.
Guten abend aus Deutschland.
Dankeschön.
Yay! Gunny, you are from the FlyersNittyGritty.com. You're one of their great contributors. And, man, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to get into some awesome stuff with you. I know you're in Germany right now, doing the best for our country. And, man, you definitely get the Hockey Writers Inc. salute for that one, my man, for sure. Thank you for your service. And thanks for joining in, man. This is exciting, man. We can't wait to get into it and talk to you. And we got a lot of great stuff to talk to you about, man. So with that being said, my man Lance, get him rolling.
Yeah, so first question I have for you, Gunny, of course, is just how you got into this whole writing gig and how you got linked up with Flyers Nitty Gritty, just to let everybody know.
I've been a lifelong writer. I've always written things. It's kind of been my passion, kind of like my secret passion, I should say. Never really wanted to share anything. Got linked up with Jamey, who's a fantastic guy. We all know that he's one of the greatest guys I have in my life right now. And I sent him an article I wrote last season about Matt Niskanen and how I felt that he was the backbone of the Flyers and the unsung hero of the team.
That he was.
He read it
and
he said he loved it and he ran with it and asked if I wanted to continue to write. And I did, and it's gone from there. But that's basically how I started. It was just a passion for the Flyers and a passion for what I saw in Matt Niskanen, and I wrote it out, and I just speak from the heart. You know, I feel like as a fan, I don't have an agenda other than I just love the team and I love the product that they put out, and I'm objective, so you're gonna get the real out of me. You know what I mean? And that's what I write about.
And I definitely see that, and that's why I've reached out to you a little bit and in the past, and I love reading your stuff as well. So kudos to you and keep it up, man. That's why we had you on this show with us, so we can get your opinion on some stuff and get some exposure to you to see if you can get some more followers and get some more people reading your stuff.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it.
Exactly.
It's an honor to be on.
Like reading it. Yeah, man. I love reading your stuff too. I like the articles you do, the Gunny musters. Those are really cool. I do like that really good approach. And that's one thing that Lance can tell you is that I appreciate from the heart and I appreciate the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't give me the stuff with sprinkles on it. No, I don't want that. I want the truth.
Yeah, I think that works in a lot of other cities, but Philadelphia, it doesn't. I think, that just needs that grit, that realism of what's going on. We don't need to be lied to. I think that's what most Philadelphia fans love that. So
I think that Philadelphia sports, whether it's the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Phillies, the Philadelphia sports base is a very educated fan base. And I think that, we're buying into a product that we demand a return from, and I think it's okay for us as writers to speak for the voice of the fans. And if we're unhappy with the product that we're seeing, it needs to be voiced. We can be respectful but objective at the same time. And that's what I try to bring to my writing.
Very well said. Yeah.
All right, yeah, man, I like that.
I
I'm down
told
with
you I
that.
like this guy, Steele. Told you.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, yeah. You don't bring me no slouches, man. All right, all right, all right. I mean, especially he's wearing his special jersey there for the Flyers. Yeah,
Look at
boy.
that.
So we're all down with that.
Little
So
starter heart right here, reverse retro starter heart going right here.
I know, man. I know. Unfortunately, I missed the wagon on that one, but hopefully we'll get that on the flip side and come back around. Glad to have you on the show. We're going to get into a couple of articles here that Lance wrote, and man, I'll tell you what. I know that this is what we're going to talk about here too, and I think this is a perfect name for the show based on who we have here for the show. Stay calm and soldier on. Okay, and with the injuries beginning to pile up and frustration starting to brew a little bit here with the Flyers. I mean, we saw Carter Hart slam the stick a little bit. That okay, all right. Posted to FlyersNittyGritty.com earlier this week. This is exactly what we've been talking about, Lance, the whole time. I mean, I know that there are 6 or 7 games into the season, but what are some of the red flags that you have that you see, Lance, that you point out in this first piece?
I mean, there was definitely a lot. I think they tried to mend some of those things, but obviously the injuries, guys, you can't really, blame Carter Hart too much for this. And the injuries are piling up. Slowly they're getting better. They're getting healthy here. So, maybe we see that turnaround, but there's some obvious flaws there in the re-signings as well that they made this year. And I just think that there was a lot more pieces that they could have brought in for cheap that could have helped the team a little bit better, for sure.
Yeah, especially with what they did in the offseason. Gunny, what do you think were some of the red flags there in some of the first 6 or 7 games, you think?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think the lack of physicality, it looks like they're being bullied out there. They come out there, and the moment that the game turns to a physical game, it looks like that our boys get soft. I'm not saying that they're soft, but I feel like the up tempo type of play doesn't fit well for a physical game, and it throws them off. I'll be honest, seeing Carter Hart slam his stick and break that stick, I liked it. I liked it because it shows me that he cares, he has passion, and he's not happy with where our boys are playing. And that when I see that, it lets me know that they're not comfortable. They're uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable in your situation, you're going to push and you're going to fight to get comfortable. And I think we saw that, in the next game afterwards.
And I think that point that you brought up with Carter Hart, most fans and the team knows that he doesn't get that way often. So
Absolutely.
If it got to that point for Carter Hart to be that frustrated, I think, as we've seen in the past couple of games now, the Flyers seem to wake up and realize, hey, man, we need to help this kid out. Like, he's our backbone. He's the face of our franchise moving forward, and we're letting him down.
Mm-hmm. And
Gosh.
anybody that has an issue with what Carter Hart did, I would ask them to rewatch the games that they watched and look at how many times our defense cleared the net for him in front of him, even when the play was dead. Those guys were just willy-nilly in front of that net, taking up his space. You got to clear that out. Lance, you're a goalie. You know that. You would respect that out of your defenseman,
Most definitely. I did that most of the time on my own because the defense didn't. I pulled a little Hextall, and nobody wanted to come near me much after that. But I don't think Carter Hart has that same, that blood in him right there. So somebody's going to need to do it for him. I think Sanheim and Myers are definitely big enough to do so. They just need to get a little bit more grit, a little bit more physical with that and push them out of the way, get them out of the way, any means necessary.
Well, Lance, you said something to me that you just said something that really made my ears perk up a little bit when you said that some cheap signings. I'll be honest. The thing I think that we're missing is a simmer. We're missing a simmer, Wayne Simmons type individual on our team that can get out there. And you know what? Friedman getting slammed on his face by Brad Marchand and nobody answering the bell to that speaks volumes to the respect that our team is getting right now.
Or lack thereof, yeah.
Like they can just do whatever they want to the Flyers, and there's nobody that's going to make them answer the bell. And I guarantee you, if Wayne Simmons was on this roster right now, that would not have happened.
And I think that's why the team tried to, or is still trying to, put Sam Moran in there. He's physically capable of it for sure, and he's answered the bell many times in his AHL career, but is he going to be productive for a long period of time on that wing? I don't know. It's going to take him a long time to move from that defensive mindset to be able to play that winger aspect of it. And, as I seen in some of the previous games, like say the scrimmage that was there when they tried him out in it, he's floating around the center trying to break out, and he should have been on the boards like a winger. He just doesn't get that because he hasn't been that, winger presence on a breakout. He's got a nice shot. He's got the physicality. He's got the fisticuffs that we need. But we really could have signed a center there.
Dumb question then. Okay, dumb question. Why are we moving him to the wing? Why can't he be that same kind of big, giant player that's out there protecting guys as a D-man?
Good question.
I don't understand that.
Good question.
I mean, why do they have to switch him and take up a winger spot for somebody that could be out there playing, that could be, or somebody that we could sign or whatever? Why are we doing that?
Yeah, 2 quick points to that. You're not going to find a guy that's 6'7" and 230 pounds anywhere on the free agent market. Most guys like that are successful will keep that. I think the Flyers, like Gunny was trying to allude to, need that presence up front as well. We have some physicality. The little bit that we do have on this team is on the backside right now with Hag and everything. But personally, he's not playing too well right now. He's turning the puck way too much over. But we need that physicality up front, and it's not there. So I think we tried that with him. But personally, Pross came in and played great for us. But why wasn't Moran given a chance in that aspect to jump back on defense then if we needed another guy? I don't know.
Yeah. If I can jump into that on a second,
sure.
I think you hit that perfectly. But I think there was a false sense of security in the depth of our defense coming in. I think that losing Matt Niskanen was a larger blow than any of us expected. And if you watching the games, I think that our defense has really, really showed that there's some holes in our defensive depth. And I think that they expected coming in that Sam Moran could be moved from the defense to the wing because we had enough depth at defense to take care of it. And it's showing within these first 6 games that's not the case. And he may be more valuable as a defenseman than he is on the left wing, like you said, Steele.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many different things here. I mean, you look, the fact that the injuries are starting to pile up too. The fact that Myers is out, the fact that a Selke Award-winning trophy winner is out. Right. You can't just replace that in the matter of a couple of games.
No, and definitely not. Myers, in my mind, as me and Steele talked about on previous shows and what I talked about in previous articles, projected him to possibly be that right-hand shot to jump up and play with Provorov on that first line, instead of playing another left-hand shot on that side of Provorov and kind of being that odd angled, play. Yeah. It limits that and allows that right-hand shot to be up there. And they haven't obviously done so because he is injured right now. But they didn't start that way at the beginning of this season either. I think Ghost has come in and looked pretty good. But there's still some obvious holes. Gustafsson, I think, is another 2.0 of Ghost, and as we alluded to in many different shows as well, Steele. So
we'll get into that in a little bit.
Right? Yeah.
Just hang tight on that. Hold your horses on that one. I'd like to touch on the fact that we did have Frost come out and try to replace or try to be a replacement for Coots, and he ended up getting injured as well. In your article, you pointed out that maybe he could have done something like what Jay O'Brien has done, and that's like hit the gym a little bit, and even what Joel Farabee did. I mean,
Exactly
Joel
my point.
Farabee put 15 to 20 pounds of muscle on, and it shows.
Pure muscle.
You can't take him off the puck now. He's flying into the boards now and finishing his checks. Okay, but you just didn't see that with Frost, right? And exactly with what you said, Gunny. Our defense and our team is just getting thrown around. There is that huge lack of physicality. So
Well, and you look at it, man, and it's the opposite of what Flyers hockey is known for. And it's honestly a paradigm shift in what Flyers hockey is, and it's frustrating. And that's why when I write, I try to feel exactly what fans are saying and feeling as well, and it's that we're almost disgusted in what we're seeing right now. And I don't want to sound negative, but this isn't Flyers hockey, guys. We don't get pushed off of pucks. We push off of pucks, and we're seeing the opposite. And it's just you're right, Steele. What you said is we're getting bullied. It's bully hockey right now, and we are not the bullies right now.
yeah, that was a great article that Lance did a couple
Yes, it
weeks
was.
ago, and we did a great show about that one. And you know what I mean. So
Yeah, definitely Farabee. I mean, like I wrote before, Farabee has put on that muscle, like you said. He's going into the boards. He's getting to the board battles. He's winning board battles. He's being able to wait that extra second with the puck that he didn't last year, and he's able to let that player or teammate of his get around that extra guy of that defenseman and lay that nice pass right on the tape of his stick. Whereas before he would rush the play and hurry up because he would get pushed off the puck if not. So, Frost, I wanted to see him succeed. I still want to see him succeed, but that is what I'm talking about. He has all the offensive talent in the world, guys. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's not offensively talented. He obviously is with 2+ 100-point seasons in the OHL, but he needed to do that. Jay O'Brien got hurt in his first year in collegiate hockey. He went and played some BCHL hockey and came back this year to the NCAA, but he came back with that extra muscle on, and now he's more productive. He's producing at almost a point per game because he's able to be that strong on the puck like he was in his junior career and all that with Team USA. So that's what Frost needs to succeed. He has that offensive talent, but he
has
doesn't
the
have that
tools.
muscle to let it be shown.
Yeah.
He is elusive. He can get anywhere he wants to, but once
Speed.
he's
He has the
there,
speed and tools. Yeah.
that big gargantuan type defenseman that the other team sees him is going to follow that and clear his little behind out of the puck battles or out of the front of the net before that puck gets there to make that play. And like Gunny said, that's just not the case in prior years of Flyers hockey. Yes, the game has changed a little bit, but if you looked at Tampa Bay Lightning the year prior to them winning the Cup, they got bounced out of the playoffs first round because of that. They didn't have that physicality that they showed last year, and that's what pushed them over that hump. They could score all the goals, they could do all that during regular season. They may have been able to, but let's face it, playoff hockey is still what Flyer hockey was of old, and that is not being the case here in Philadelphia nowadays, guys. And they need and I can't tell you how many articles, or Steele probably can't tell you how many articles I write about this on a frequent basis, that they need that hitter. They need that player that can bounce some bodies off and gain those puck battles back and win some fights in front of the net and clear the porch when needed to on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
The
Absolutely.
last two games that the Flyers have played against New Jersey, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but they defensively they've looked a little better. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I think that we're going to talk about why that has improved here. But one of the things that I wanted to say here about, especially with this article here, is that, man, I love how you always structure your articles, Lance. You always have some good, and then you mix in a little bit of praise, and then and then there's some glaring issues,
And then I always seem to come up with a remedy
Yeah,
for
exactly.
those
Exactly,
issues.
exactly. And that's what I want to talk to you about here, because this is exactly what you've done again here with this article. And one of the remedies that you point out, and I think we've even seen some rumblings of this too, of a possible move here for Florida's Bjorkstrom. Henrik Bjorkstrom might potentially be a phone call here that Chuck Fletcher might be making to Florida, and you point that out here so nicely in the article. And why do you think this is a good move?
Right. Well, let's start off by saying this. Obviously, the problems are on defense, but the free agent market as it is, there's not a whole lot of people out there left. Okay. So you might have to look for the trade, but we have a plethora of defensemen already and defensemen coming up the pike. So I think that as it already has begun to right itself. But what I see a glaring hole is undersized centers. Okay. And a lot of those, Frost being one of them, is not being able to catch on and get going like we want him to. And it's mostly because of his size, as we just discussed for a long period of time. Um, that's why I say Hendrik Borgstrom. Now, Borgstrom is a former number one first round pick, 2016. He's
Yeah,
23 years old,
yeah.
so he's already been there and done that on a high level. He's 6'3", 198 pounds. Okay, this is some of the guys that are being able to handle themselves right now on the Flyers are Kevin Hayes and Sean Couturier, bigger body guys that can do this. Okay, but the reason why I picked Borgstrom is because he's fed up with Florida. Now, unlike us, Florida drafts these talented players. They're very good at drafting, and you can go back and look and see all the talent that they have coming up the pike. But what's wrong with their spectrum of things down there is they'll give these guys and they want them to work right away. So they'll draft these guys first round, and then they'll give them a shot in their rookie season right out the gate for a couple of games, realize that they're not catching on right away, and then they throw them back down to the minors or send them back to wherever they had them from or got them from, and forget about them and call up the next guy that they want to see that'll automatically take away. Now that really hasn't worked out for them since maybe Aaron Ekblad, defenseman, a first overall pick for him way back in like, I don't know, 2014, 2013 or something. So that system's obviously broken. Now, Borgstrom had that same thing. He played, he was drafted, he came up to the University of Denver. So he's obviously got some experience playing in North America. He's Finnish, but he's not that typical Finn that's coming over that really isn't used to North American style hockey.
Yeah, he's been over
Okay.
here for a
He's
little
been
while
over here.
playing.
He's played. He can handle himself in the North
Yeah,
American style game.
yeah,
He
yeah.
won a national championship his first year with the University of Denver. He was a Hobie Baker Award finalist the year after that with Denver as well before turning pro. He excelled in the short time he spent in the AHL the first time, almost at a point a game with Springfield down there. And when he finally got his shot with Florida, he scored about 8 goals and 10 assists for 18 points in 50 games. Now let's
Yeah.
compare that to Farabee's rookie year. A couple years later, Farabee, our bread and butter here, guys, in 52 games, he scored 8 goals and 13 assists for 21 points. So that's just a couple points over 2 more game time span than
Yeah.
Farabee.
Yeah.
But Florida wasn't happy with that, and they shipped him back to the minors and have
Jeez.
kept him there.
Yeah.
So Borgstrom is upset with that. And he has since signed back to Liga in Finland and is playing over there and refused to sign back with Florida right now. So obviously they don't really have a whole lot of leeway in what they can request for him. Everybody knows that, he doesn't even want to play with them. So we might be able to get a guy like that on a bargain basement price who has had success already in the NHL and is big enough and strong enough to pull up and play. And I believe he can switch to wing as well. He is capable of doing so. He has a puck on a string anytime he's out there. If you watch some plays that I've shown in the article that I presented, I've
the highlights.
put up a lot of YouTube videos of him that you can see his style game. And it is not just sink or swim here in Philly. We set our guys up to succeed. Now, especially with AV. AV does so very well, which he did with Frost. He didn't just throw him into the lineup and put him on a fourth line.
Yeah.
He put him up with guys like Giroux and Konechny last season, and he did something similar
this year.
Something similar this year when he gave him his shot before he got injured. So he would be in a lot better system right here if he came to Philly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And Gunny, it would be a step ahead of Frost and all the guys who got in there and could step in right away.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gunny, what do you think about bringing somebody in there like Henrique? I mean, look, we got to do something.
I mean, it's hard to just disagree with Lance. He always frames it perfectly, and has a great insight on it. I mean, it goes to
checks in the mail. Checks in the mail, right? Thank you.
Yeah, I hear it. No, but it with that take, it also goes with the the Twitter buzz that we've all been hearing about Yandel coming over. I find it hard to if we can make it work, I find it hard to pass on a Yandel. I don't know if I am gonna buy off if he's still going to not hold his no trade clause. Going into next year with the expansion draft, that's something where I understand where the Flyers are holding back on because he's a little bit older in age, and we got a young core that we need to keep. But if we're looking at winning this year, somebody like Yandel is something that's going to come in to help us out. But again, you got to look at the long-term side of it, and we got the big expansion draft coming next year that is we got to protect. So I understand, but it's hard to disagree with Lance. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. It needs to be done soon because we're looking at a short season, and we all know that we want to hoist Lord Stanley up.
I think with Yandel, though, it's going to come down to, if that worked out, it's going to come down to how much is Florida willing to retain in his salary. And, I don't like the amount of years he has left on his contract. We have young guys like Cam York and Igor Zumla ready and waiting in the wings, and I think that'll eventually block them. And I think that's why we signed Gustafsson to only a year term.
Now, but do you? So I agree with you, Lance, on that with the term, the length of the term. But I also got to wonder: is Yandel somebody that can come in and be a Matt Niskanen that we had last year? Do you? And that's an honest question. I'm asking with your insight. Is it somebody that's a veteran that has the years in that can kind of be that?
He has the potential for sure. He has the potential. I don't know if he has the leadership and stuff that we're looking for Niskanen. He obviously played a lot of games in the NHL and stuff like that, but I don't know if we're going to get that same veteran presence. I don't know personally. I don't know him. I haven't been in a locker room talking to him, so I haven't been able to see him like I have with Niskanen. But, I don't know if he's that willing to help out the young guys like Niskanen was either.
Okay.
Rather than just coming in and saying, I'll play this game, but go away with all that, questioning stuff. I make my money and I'm getting out. So I don't know. And he could be that guy. He could not be. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good question. Now I have a question for you guys. Okay. Look, we keep saying that there's something that needs to be done. There's something that needs to be done. And with everybody making suggestions, Gunny, you said Yandel and Lance in the article, you point out Henrique. What is wrong with the players that are currently in the system right now? Why can't we bring these guys up and put them in the freaking lineup? Okay, look, why is Braun still in the lineup? Why? Why isn't Zumala playing? Why isn't Friedman playing more? Why isn't Moran playing in the as a D or even in the wing? What? What? I'm Gunny. What do you think? I'm gonna ask you first. We all this depth. Let me see it.
I think that it's a league issue, or a mentality that the trusting in the young guys. I think it's hard for teams to trust young talent. They want them to overdevelop to sometimes where they miss the bus because they've overdeveloped. With Braun, I think they're hoping that Braun could fill the role that Niskanen did, and I don't think he's that type of individual. Um, I would like to see some of these young guys get in, but I think that when you put the young guys in, you almost have to put in the risk that we're not in the win now mentality. And it's we're gonna ride this out and get them the experience. So we're kind of in a middle ground where we know that the Flyers have the team to win that championship. We all know it. We saw it last year. Say what you want to say about the postseason. Hey, they didn't show up. We know that, but we know that the talent is there. So for them to put these young guys in, it's almost saying, hey, we want to give these guys a chance to build for the future, and we're not in that win now mentality right now. But still, I want to see these young guys get the chance. I do. I'm ready for it. I think that they deserve it. And I think that I wrote an article last year where I think there's a changing of the guard coming soon, and we can speak about it later, but I think that there is a changing of the guard that needs to happen, if not this season, next season, and that's with the C that's on the chest.
Well, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. That's for another day.
It's a hot take, but we can discuss that anytime.
That's for another day, though. But Lance, look, we got all this depth, right? And you always have these great suggestions that are all these great players. I mean, look, here's the beauty of it. There's a lot of prospects out there, especially now this year, that aren't playing or that are playing limited games because of leagues not being out there and stuff like that. And this is the perfect time to pluck those types of players. I get it. Right. But we've got a stable full of people. What do you not talk to me, Lance? What?
Do we have a stable or full, or do we have one or two nights with a bunch of stable boys? Is my thing. Dan, the Flyers fan, who I like, said something not similar to that, but we have a bunch of mediocre guys. We have a few very talented players, but we have a lot of mediocre guys in the system. And Steele, I've alluded to this before in suggesting all these moves. I think like a GM in my mind, I'm never happy or settle with what we got. I think we should always strive to get better. If you're happy with what you got, you're going to go stagnant. And injuries and all that have just shown us how much we shouldn't do that, because where's that next guy up? And Frost and stuff is stumbling in that when he was given the chance. So that's why I always suggest maybe trading up or trading something to get guys that are more proven that can step in given these chances like Frost had, that maybe won't stumble as much as he did. But I think we might have seen that youth come in if Niskanen didn't retire. If Niskanen didn't retire and that top two were set, and Sanheim and Myers could have slotted in and be
Yeah.
that second pairing, I
Yeah.
think we would have saw a Zumla come in, or a Friedman, or a Moran be more okay to take that sixth spot and not expect too much of them. But I think it was, like I've said before, I think it was a panic move. Once Niskanen did retire, that we signed Braun back and we go out and get Gustafsson, because we weren't sure of what we were exactly getting from Ghost. Was he going to be, as he's slowly starting to show, that he can skate and he's showing signs of his old self? I know I wasn't sold on that aspect of Ghost coming back like he has. And I think they wanted that power play specialist that Gustafsson has shown signs that he can be, at least on the offensive zone, but he's lacking on the defensive zone.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to get your take on that, because I understand that we have a lot of depth, but I want to see the depth. But look, here's the other thing that I have been noticing as well too, especially with a lot of the players that Ron Hextall drafted with the Flyers. 5'9", 5'8", 5'10", 5'11", 5'9", 5'8", 160 pounds, 170 pounds, 160 pounds, 180 pounds, I want to see guys 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds, 210 pounds, 200, 100. Where are those guys? Where are those guys? I keep seeing all these diminutive guys, and that's all fine and great. And I'm not saying that they're not good players, but when you
The
look at the
chances of
league,
those players progressing to the level of the NHL, there's not too many guys like a Brad Marchand that can step up and play, being that small, and Martin St. Louis and all that. And I've said that before in articles as well. There's not too many of those guys, few and far between in that nature. And
exactly.
I don't know. I like Wisdom. I am big proponent for Wisdom, and he
Yeah,
has
I'm with
that
you.
grit needed and that solid build to him to sustain a NHL career in the near future. But others, I don't know. They
Yeah.
look great in juniors when they're playing against 15 and 16-year-olds. But
Let's see how you are against the
NHL,
big
you're
guys.
playing against some big boys. So it's now men, not boys, that you're playing against, and that's where guys like Frost are stumbling in my mind.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Or listen, we're going to get into the one of the. Okay, this is the whole reason why the name of this show is called, Stay Calm and Soldier On. Okay, in the second article here, as a netminder, it had to be hard to watch that game against the Bruins, where the team just hung Carter Hart and just said, "All right, we'll see you after the game," right? And they just didn't even play in front of him. Okay, and you can't do that. You just you can't do that. So in your latest piece, breaking down the Flyers' latest defensive breakdowns, look, we've touched on it. It's been kind of a rolling theme throughout this entire show. So I just want to ask a couple of quick questions on this before we get into some breakdown here, some of the latest games. The article that you posted, plus that it's, where is this team going? I mean, it's hard to see what's going on here. Okay, I'm seeing so much inconsistency. Do you agree, Lance?
I definitely do. After the Bruins are not the same Bruins that they were last season, guys. We have yet to seen Pastrnak play against us, the person who was tied for the league with Ovechkin for the most goals last year, and they lost two of their best defensemen. You know, so they're not the same team by any means, and
Nope.
loss that large to those teams shows you that we're not where we were last season for sure,
Nope.
and not where we want to be.
No.
Now, you can get hype all you want about 2 wins over the Devils, but they were among the league's worst in the Metro Division's worst team. So I'm not getting too hype about those wins there. And, it's kind of scary. I don't know, as we alluded to. But I like how I broke down each goal and tried to take the craziness that was on Twitter that I was seeing where, Carter Hart had a couple bad games. Trade him. Send him back to the Phantoms. Are you kidding me, guys? Are you really kidding me? I understand the frustration, but you needed to go ahead and redirect that somewhere else. In the article, I broke down each individual goal and what happened.
Yep.
And you can go back and read that if you want. I would like it if you did. But basic what it came down to is in that game, there was 3 power play goals scored by the Bruins.
Yep.
where the Flyers were a man down. And why was that? Because of some stupid penalties by the Flyers. They are in shape. AV has them in shape in the camp. They are skating very well. So that's not an excuse that they're pulling down guys because they got beat. That's not the case.
Right.
It's just some dumb plays. And I think they started to clean that up a little bit. And I think, Elaine's probably got into him a little bit after quite a few games of doing so.
Yeah, you think?
So I think they started to clean that up, and hopefully for the goalie's sake they did.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gunny, what do you think? Clearly, this was not Carter Hart's loss for sure during the and I'll even open it up to that. I mean, this was not his loss. What do you think, Gunny?
I think you got to look at the fact. The first simple fact is that we're getting outshot. We're getting outshot astronomically. Shots on goals it's hard to watch when you see that we are being outshot by 10, 12, 15 goals or shots on goal. Apologize for that. You can't win a game that way. And like Lance just said, as a Marine, we pride ourselves on discipline. I haven't seen a single disciplined game when it comes to penalties from the Flyers. They're playing a very sloppy, undisciplined game, and it's tough to win when you are getting penalties with a terrible penalty kill. It's terrible. It's not. It's not what it was last year. So I think that with a undisciplined game, being outshot and taking terrible penalties with a bad penalty kill, you're not going to win. You're not going to win winnable games anytime. And they're putting themselves up against the buck right now.
I think to go along with that point, I think a reason for that too is the fact that they're finding the dump and chase a method, and I've always been against that. Why give up the puck when you have it on your stick? Why dump it into the offensive zone and just allow their defense to go after it and retrieve it? Skate the puck into the zone. And if you're not going to do that, you need to be able to win a board battle, which this team, besides a few players, is not doing so.
No.
So that, in case, turns the puck over. And then these teams are hightailing it the other way. So if you can't spend time in the offensive zone, you're not going to tend to score so many goals or get so many shots on goal.
I tend to look at games. I tend to look at games and go, man, my neck is getting sore. Well, why is your neck getting sore? Because I'm looking at our team playing down on the other end. Yeah. Okay. And I'm tired of seeing that.
And you look at Lance and Steele, you look at the games, you watch the games, keeping the puck on the stick. I want to see it, but it seems that their passing is sloppy. It seems that they're missing the pass, they're putting it into the zone. It's just an all-around sloppy play. And I look at it and I want to, give the benefit of the doubt that there was no training camp. It was a short training camp. It was this crazy thing. But at some point, we got to start clicking and we got to start making tape-to-tape passes that produce a play. And it's just not happening right now.
It's not.
I think they're trying to go before they get the puck. And they're already trying to break out and get that step on that defenseman. But they don't have the puck there yet, and that's what they need. They need to secure the puck, cradle it, and then take off with it.
Like we always said last year.
Like we've always said in the Marine Corps, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
That's right.
That's
can't argue with that logic, and that's exactly what they were doing last year. They were looking for that perfect pass. They were looking for that pretty play. I'm so sick and tired of seeing these no look behind the back passes or these drop passes and stuff. Look where you're slinging the puck, please.
Too many playmakers on this team, not enough finishers. And that's another thing that the Flyers have yet to be answered to and find that finisher. We keep drafting playmakers, and Giroux is very talented throughout his career, and Voracek just reached some milestones as well. But all those guys are playmakers, and they can set guys up, but we don't have that 30 or 40 or 50 goal scorer that we need.
Or that threat that teams have to game plan for every night. Look, not everybody is going to be lucky enough to have a Stamkos, and not everybody's going to be lucky enough to have a Crosby. You know what I mean? Not everybody's lucky enough to have that, or an Ovechkin, or what. But
could have had a Line A though.
Okay, but you see, I keep rattling off names and saying, well, nobody has a guy like that. Well, nobody has a guy like that. But there's teams out there that have guys like that. Why can't we have a guy like that? that would make AV's system fly.
And that's why I keep suggesting these different type guys. We have a wealth of talent in the system. Why not trade some of that depth for one of these people? Trade the farm for a proven NHL talent, and that'll get. There's plenty of depth there, and we have so many like Gunny was alluding to with the backlog of defensemen. Why not trade a couple of them? Why not trade whatever somebody needs prospects wise and get an NHL level talent, a proven talent? Nobody is going to be mad at you for trading away of it. Do I want to go back to the 90s where they trade every pick and stuff like the Penguins still do? No, I don't. No, I don't.
Stop it. You're not allowed to say that anymore.
Right. But no, I don't want that to happen. But if they could secure themselves and do that, a couple pieces for a proven NHL talent, I think they need to do that. They need to find that sniper. They need to find that scoring threat that they don't have and haven't had for some time, probably since Jeff Carter.
Yeah, that's a good combination there.
Well, good call right there.
Right. Yeah, man. All right, I'll tell you what. We talked about some of the not so good. Okay, that's going on with the Flyers. So let's talk about some really good stuff. Okay, and we're going to get into some more of the recent games here, and I want to kind of get you guys' take on some of the latest play that the Flyers have done and stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little round robin here with some questions and stuff like that, So the Flyers have swept their first series here against the Devils. Look, I get it. It's against the Devils. Nobody thought the Devils were going to be even remotely what they're showing right now. Okay. And I've been impressed with the way the Devils have played. I don't consider those two wins against the Devils to be slouch wins. I think the fact that they came out and won those and made a statement with those wins, I think says a lot about what's going on with the Flyers right now. And I believe that AV has gotten in the ear, blistered some paint, whatever you want to call it. I think the bell has been answered. Okay. And we got Gunny is joining us here. And man, I love reading your Gunny musters. Right. And those are always so cool. And so that's why I wanted to get into some of these questions with you. Right. Because you break down the game and you have such a unique perspective on things. You know what I'm saying? And Lance was like, yeah, man. Gunny was like, yeah, we should get Gunny on the show. I was like, yeah, get Gunny on the show. All right, cool. All right. So we got Gunny on the show. So, all right. I'm going to start off with you, Gunny. I'm going to say this. What are your thoughts on Ghost coming back and looking good?
I mean, from all the articles I've wrote, anybody that's read what I wrote, I am not a big Ghost believer. And so anything that he does right now, and everything we've seen right now looks great because of what we saw was so bad from the previous years. And I don't mean to call him like he's done well and he's produced for us before, but I think that he underperformed so much in the past years. And what we're seeing now is what the bare minimum of what we expected and wanted. He's not overperforming. He's not so much as what I would say is good. I think we've still seen such a small sample that I'm honestly just waiting to see Ghost give up the puck again, miss his
Revert
assignment,
back to his old ways.
and revert back to his old ways. Do I want that? Absolutely not, because a healthy, strong, performing Ghost does nothing but makes the Flyers a nasty threat from the blue line, and that's what we all want.
Exactly. Lance?
I think he hit on some good points there. But I think for the first time, I can agree with him. I'm not the biggest paranormal fan for that nature as well. But I think Ghost, for the first time in a while, is completely healthy. And you're seeing that in his skating. When he does still make those mistakes, they're not as noticeable this year in the couple of games that he's played because he has shown the ability to get back. Something that he cared less to do in previous seasons recently. But he is getting back and he is laying out the body or whatever he has to do to recover from his mistakes. So his mistakes are still there if you watch closely, but it's his skating ability that he has since gotten back. And with that ability, I think you're seeing that trust come slowly creeping back from the Flyers organization and AV in that nature. So, like Gunny said, I don't want to say, oh, the old Ghost is back, but he's definitely skating better and definitely showing signs that he's kind of getting it. And I'm kind of working on something right now, saying that as well with a couple other people. They're finally buying in to AV's system, realizing that putting their foot down and sticking into their old ways isn't working anymore and is not going to be taken lightly by the new boss behind the bench. So I think all that in mind, I think we should hopefully see a better Ghost from here on out if he can stay healthy.
A confident Ghost. A confident Ghost is a dangerous Ghost, and that's what we need.
I don't think we're going to see a better Ghost. I think we're going to see the Ghost that we saw 2 years ago.
Right. Because that's better words. Yeah, that's
okay.
what I was meaning. It's
I got you.
I don't know if he's going to hit that 70-point season or something that he did.
No.
But it's going to be loads better than it was the previous year when he was made to go sit in the rafters with a suit on. So
yeah,
I think you guys both touched on perfect points, and here's the one thing that I want to just throw into that. He has bought in. It's exactly what you guys have said. He's bought into the system here, and when you buy into the coach's system, and exactly with what you said, I looked very closely. Sometimes I'll go back and rewatch games. If I want to watch like a specific player, I'll go back and I'll rewatch a game and I'll look at that specific player. So the second game against New Jersey, I went back and watched that game and looked at Ghost. Okay. And he had two kind of minor breakdowns, but exactly with what Lance said, he was able to get back on this horse and nullify the turnovers by getting back. Okay. And that to me is showing me that we're seeing the old Ghost. Okay. We might not see the points that we did in the past, but we're seeing the play. We're seeing the effort. And as long as we see the play and the effort, I'm good with that because I'll take that all day over Gustafsson. Because at least he's going back. And Gustafsson is just, oh, sorry. I didn't mean to give up the puck. Anyway,
Look,
all right.
you're right on that, Steele. Gus is a complete liability. He's a complete liability on defensive end once he gets beat. It's just
Yep.
Looks great on the power play, but any other time, kind of sketchy. And Hag in my mind is I'm a big Hag fan. He's the team leader in hits and stuff as well. But he's coughing the puck up right and left, and he's not being too sound defensively. And that's
No.
what his bread and butter was,
Exactly.
on when he came up, and that's discerning. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right. We can't keep hanging the goalie out to dry. Okay, we really can't. The defense needs to play much better. There needs to be more consistency. I think that even against New Jersey, there was some issues there still too. You know what I mean? And I'll go with you, Lance, on this one first. There was still some issues even on the D, even though we won, right?
yeah, definitely. I think we were starting to get into that. Obviously, Gustafson's kind of been a liability thus far in the defensive zone, and I think with leaving Braun up there, they've kind of since backed him down to maybe where he should have been the whole season if when we brought him back, and not playing him on the first line with Provorov for some unbegotten known reason, or even with Sanheim. At this point in his career, I think he's a third pairing defenseman, and he should stay with what he's good at, and just that he is that.
He's good at something.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's definitely some work there, and as I said, Hag has not been living up to his defensive prowess that he's shown he could play with, and
Yeah,
it's a little concerning to me.
I agree. Gunny, what do you think? Even though we did win those two games, and there were some defensive issues there, what do you think?
hey, I'm going to give a little sneak peek into the article I'm working on right now. And
Oh yeah, we like sneak peeks. Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Sneak peek.
I'm going to ask the question: are the Flyers that good, or are the teams they're playing that bad? And I mean, I think that's the question we're going to ask. Are we squeaking wins out because we're playing teams that just aren't contenders, and we are a low level contender right now that is making mistakes and getting lucky. We're hanging Carter Hart out to dry, and luckily I think Carter is mentally strong enough to withstand this right now.
Thank God.
It's no secret that the history of the Flyers is we hang goalies out to dry, and great goalies leave Philadelphia and go on to do great things. And I sure hope and pray that that's not the story that happens to Carter Hart. But look, the defense has got to get better. Like Lance said, bottom line, people are hanging out dry, leaving pucks out there to go. We need to get physical. We need to get smart, and we need to clear this. We need to clear zone. And I'll tell you, every single time I watch a game and we have our opponents standing there in front of Carter Hart, just owning that zone, and it's not getting cleared out after that play, I need to start seeing our defensemen get serious, get mean, and clear the way for Carter Hart and show him that, hey, we got your back. We're going to war with you. We're standing shoulder to shoulder with you. You are no longer going to get bullied in front of the net. That's what we need to see.
We ain't seeing that. We are not seeing that because guys are getting point blank shots, and that's we can't be having that kind of stuff, guys. What? No.
Carter Hart's only going to stop the shots that he can see. And that's period right there.
And that's coming from a goalie, folks. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's
Beautiful.
coming straight from the horse's mouth right there. All right. Last question. We know that there's some injuries to some key players. We know that potentially Myers might be on the comeback. We got Ghost back, so that's a good plus. You know what I mean? I would really like to see Braun sit a game and see somebody come in and play just one game. Can we just do it one game? Oh gosh, please! I just want to see one game. Injuries piling up. What do you guys think of the Nate Prosser move?
I think that's a flash in the pan. I think Prosser is a good veteran, and he's a career AHLer in my mind. A good guy to have in the locker room to help mold your young talented players that are coming up. But I don't see him being a consistent uh, flyer coming in the future, especially not with the guys that we have coming up the pike. Nothing saying, against him. He's made a heck of a career out of it, and I wish I could have gotten to that level if my knees didn't blow out. But you know, it's it is what it is. What with him, he can come in for a game or two if absolutely necessary, but don't expect the Flyers to be re-signing him to some big old contract for the near future.
Okay, all right, Gunny, what do you think? Do you like it? Yes or no?
100% agreement with Lance. I honestly, when I saw that happen, I thought that this is Nate Prosser is this season's Chris Stewart. You know what I mean? He's a good locker room guy, good come in, fill in a couple games here or there. But he's
Uh,
not he's nothing. He's not the answer. He's not the one that's
mhm.
going to come in and make a difference. It's not nothing against, like you said, Lance. He made a career out of it. It's nothing against him. He
Yeah,
came and looked great in his game, but again, Chris Stewart had a couple games that he looked good in, but he wasn't
yeah,
consistent, and it's not
yeah,
going to be a thing. That's just what I
yeah.
thought. I think he's just the roster filler, just like Chris Stewart was that locker room guy. So, um,
Mm.
yeah, there's a bigger move that needs to be made, and it's definitely not Nate Prosser.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I got a text from one of our previous show guests, JJ, saying how Nate Prosser, the savior. We both had a little laugh on that. So, no, I don't think so either.
I
I think that was a big giant waste of time. I think that. Okay, look, I'm pulling out the little soapbox and I'm going to stand on it here for a little minute. So, if I owe anybody apologies, I'm sorry. I think Braun was a huge mistake. I think re-signing him was a waste of money. I think signing Gustafson was a huge waste of money. Okay, that was almost $6 million that we just said, all right, we don't need that money. Because these guys aren't playing up to their contracts. These guys are, in my opinion, never gonna play up to their contracts. Okay, Braun is not that guy. He's just not. Okay, he's slow and he's skating in concrete. And I agree, he's a third liner or a third pairing at best. Okay, and he should only be playing maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes a game at best on no penalty kill or any situations like that. The least amount of time on the ice for him, I think, is best, especially at his stage in his career. I was not happy with the Gustafson signing because to me, we already had that player in Ghost. We saw Ghost come back in the playoffs because he was able to be healthy. I knew he was going to come back healthy eventually, and okay, if it's a trust issue, but why go out and spend $3 million for a guy that's exactly like the same guy you have on your team and for 2 years? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. All right. I feel better now. I'm off my box. I'm sorry.
I think another point too with the injuries occurring, I think the man that obviously steps up as always, um, Ivan Provorov has been playing too many minutes,
Mhm.
and he's beginning to make some simple mistakes because he's tired, and he will not ever like maybe Timonen and Desjardins in the past would never ever tell the coach that, hey, can I sit a shift out if asked? He will never tell you that, but it's showing a little wear in him. And then if you keep that up, he's not going to be able to keep his consistent game streak up. He's going to get injured, and the Flyers definitely don't need that.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. Uh, well, guys, I tell you what, man. I think we got a good rapper here on this one. So let me tell you something. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here, Gunny. Do you got anything you're working on? I know you kind of hinted on a couple of things here. You got something coming up here in the works? So you want to
I
kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, man,
absolutely.
give it to us. Give it to
I
us. Come
got
on.
I got a couple coming up. The one of them that I'm working on right now is I'm gonna my first piece that I laid out for this season was talking about things that we needed, and one of the things I said was JVR needed to show up, and I got to be honest with you, JVR is showing up. He's
Agreed.
coming out there. He's a different JVR than we saw before. He's getting up there
Yeah.
and he's playing. So I'm actually working on a piece with JVR right now. Just giving him the kudos that he deserves. 'Cause I was kind of hard on him my first piece, and then I'm also working on another one right now that I kind of spoke with Lance offline on. That's that might that some Flyers fans I think are going to enjoy because it's not as sugar coated and all happy go lucky about the Flyers. It's a real deal, nitty gritty truth behind what we're seeing, and it's okay for us to be upset because like I said, objectivity is a good thing, and we just expect more in a product that we buy into, and I think
Exactly.
that's what I'm working on right now.
Awesome, man.
It'll come
Awesome.
out in the next week.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. So listen now, how can we follow you? Can we get you on Twitter and or anything like that? I know you're part of flyersnittygritty.com, right? So that's where we can go to get all your articles, right? You're on Twitter?
Yeah, at Gritty's F is my Twitter handle. I push out a lot of my articles always on there. A lot of my throughout the games, I like to pull out my predictions on who's going to score the first goal and who's going to be the dominant player of the year. I'll tell you right now that my prediction for the most breakout player for the Flyers for this season is Joel Farabee.
Oh
And I'm going to
yeah.
go on record right
As is
now.
mine. As is
Uh,
mine.
That's
you're
what I
you're
was
in
last year.
good company right here on that one, my man.
Last year I said it was going to be Travis Konechny, and I think that we were all, that I was right on that one. I think we'd all agree on that. So I'm saying that this year is going to be Joel Farabee. And I'm going to go out and say right now that I was hard on him, but my most improved player for the year is going to be
Yeah.
James Van Riemsdyk, 100%.
Okay.
I think that we're
Yeah,
going to
there you
see
go.
a solid one. But
Awesome.
yeah, Gritty's F is where you can follow me on Twitter.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks for joining us on the show, man.
Appreciate it.
Also, thank you very much for your service, and really appreciate what you
Thank
do,
you,
man.
sir.
For real. We need more guys like you, and we need more writers like you. So for sure, thank you very much. Lance, hey,
Hey.
hey, you got some new stuff. Come on, come on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working, as I said earlier, on a piece that should be out soon. It's kind of giving props as well to quite a few different players that I see that have kind of just bid in and decided to roll with the punches and buy into this system, and have been paying dividends since they have. So
Oh yeah, man.
yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So hopefully soon we'll be seeing your article coming out here, Lance.
Yeah, yeah, should be very soon. I got most of
Okay.
it kind of sketched out, and I just need to put it to keyboard.
There you go. Yeah, the editor got him a new laptop for Christmas, right? And ever since then, man, he's just been spitting them out, man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, editor, you should have gotten him that laptop a little sooner.
Cyclic rate right there. He's spitting them
Yeah,
out of the.
exactly. Well, guys, thank you all very much for joining us. We can't thank Gunny for joining us enough from flyersnittygritty.com. We would also like to announce as well that the Steel Flyers All Sports Network is proud to announce our first sponsor at cccresorts.com. They are a one-stop shop for all of your pet grooming needs, for all of your daycare needs. They have an indoor and an outdoor pool that's salt water, so it doesn't affect the dog's skin or coat or anything like that. They take care of all the needs for all your pets, and when you travel or anything like that, they'll take care of everything. So first sponsor, cccresorts.com. Thank you to them. Yeah,
Thank
man, for
you.
sure. Thank you to Lance, the writer extraordinaire. Thank you to Gunny. Appreciate you sitting in. Yeah, man, you got it. This has been a blast, and we'll talk to you guys very soon, and take care.